Have you ever just stopped and wondered how we manage to pull off something as insane as global air traffic? Or how we even begin to build something as intricate as a modern jet? Well, the secret isn't just one thing. It's a whole discipline called systems engineering. And today, we're going to pull back the curtain on how it helps us tame the incredible, sometimes overwhelming complexity of our modern world.
You know, it's almost a cliché at this point, but it's true. Our world is more connected than it has ever been. I mean, from the smartphone in your pocket to the mind-boggling supply chains that got it there, everything is linked to everything else in this massive, intricate web. But there's a flip side to all that connection. It means our world is also more complex than ever before. And trying to get a handle on that complexity, trying to manage it, well, it can feel completely impossible sometimes.
And that, right there, is what we call the problem of complexity. To even start to solve it, we first have to get our heads around the sheer scale of the systems we're dealing with.
And we're not talking about some abstract, far-off idea here. We're talking about the fundamental systems we all rely on every single day. Things like air traffic control, our roads and bridges, massive global companies, healthcare networks, and yeah, incredibly complex products like a modern airplane. These things aren't just complicated, they are truly complex.
Which leads us to this monster of a question. The kind of thing that keeps engineers and leaders up at night. How in the world do you design, build, and manage a system that is literally too big and too complex for any single person to fully understand?
So what's the answer? You might think it's some new supercomputer or a crazy new AI, but actually, the answer starts somewhere much more fundamental. It starts with a completely new way of thinking.
Oh, I love this slide because it just nails the shift in perspective. On one side, you've got the old school way, traditional analysis. It's all about putting something under a microscope, breaking it into its smallest pieces to understand it. But systems thinking, that's about pulling the camera back. It zooms out to see the whole system, and, this is the crucial part, the connections between the parts. It's about realizing a traffic jam isn't caused by one car. It's something that emerges from how hundreds of cars interact with each other. This diagram might look a little busy, but the idea behind it is actually pretty simple. A system isn't just a big pile of stuff. It's how all that stuff connects and talks to each other. You know, think about a car. The ability to drive isn't hiding inside the engine or the steering wheel. That ability to drive is an emergent property. It's a new power that only exists when all those pieces are working together in just the right way. The relationships are just as important as the parts themselves.
And look, this isn't just some feel-good abstract philosophy. Nope. Systems thinking is built on a solid foundation of core principles. You can think of them like fundamental truths, the rules of the road that help us navigate all this complexity and actually get predictable results.
Okay, so if you've got this powerful mindset and it's built on solid principles, how do you turn that into a real-world discipline that people can actually use? Well, you write the guidebook.
For a field this huge, you're going to need a map. And for systems engineering, that map is called the SEBoK, which stands for the Systems Engineering Body of Knowledge. As you can see, it's this incredibly comprehensive framework that organizes everything from high-level theory to practical real-world examples all in one connected guide.
Now, the key thing to get about the SEBoK is that it's not just some dusty old textbook on a shelf. It's a living guide designed to create a common foundation for everyone. It standardizes the language and the core concepts so that an aerospace engineer and a healthcare administrator are, for the first time, working from the exact same playbook.
But having a playbook is one thing. What happens when the players on your team all speak different professional languages? You need something more. You need a kind of Rosetta Stone for complex systems.
And this is a huge deal in the real world. I mean, just think about it. How on earth do you get a research scientist, a software engineer, and a project manager who all come from totally different backgrounds with their own jargon and ways of seeing the world to actually speak the same language and work together on one big project?
The answer is this thing right here, the Systems Praxis Framework. And that word praxis is super important. It literally means the process of taking theory and putting it into practice. This framework is the shared blueprint that lets everyone do just that, together.
So, how does it work? Well, it all starts with the foundation, the theory. This is called integrative systems science. It pulls together knowledge from a ton of different fields. We're talking physics, biology, sociology, to find the deep, underlying patterns of complexity that show up everywhere.
But theory on its own doesn't build bridges, right? So the next layer is action. This part, systems approaches to practice, is all about the how. It provides the actual methods, the tools, and the step-by-step frameworks for tackling real problems. This is where the rubber meets the road.
So you've got this world of theory and this world of action. What connects them? What's the bridge between those two worlds? Well, it brings us right back to systems thinking itself. It's the mental toolkit, the mindset, that lets us connect those big scientific ideas to messy, everyday, practical problems.
And what's so smart about this framework is that it's not a one-size-fits-all deal. It gets that you need different tools for different jobs. For well-defined problems where you have good data, like optimizing a factory line, you use hard approaches. But for messy, human problems with fuzzy goals, like trying to improve a company's culture, you need soft approaches. And of course, in the real world, you often use pragmatic approaches, which is just a hybrid of the two.
Okay, so we've talked about a new mindset, a guidebook, and this whole framework. But let's get down to it. Why does any of this actually matter? What's the big payoff?
This slide just sums it all up beautifully. It shows the whole journey, right? You start with the science, which gives you the deep understanding. That knowledge informs your thinking, and that becomes the lens you see the world through. That thinking then guides your practice, the actual things you do. And it's that practice that ultimately delivers those real-world outcomes. It's a complete path from a cool idea to a real impact.
And really, here's the bottom line. This is the whole point. This shared framework is the key that unlocks true collaboration. It's what allows these diverse teams, brilliant people from totally different backgrounds, to finally tackle our world's biggest challenges, because for the first time, they're all speaking the same language and pulling in the same direction. So, I want to leave you with a question to chew on. Now that you've got this new lens, take a look around you. What's a really complex, messy problem in your world, maybe at work, in your community, or even in your own life, that you could start to untangle just by thinking in systems?